okay, now I had to rethink, you know, on my way to success, like what's going to work for me. So at that point in time, because I remember I was always at FAMU, you know, to play ball. So it was always like, it was almost, I literally, the mindset that I end up shifting to is like, okay, what FAMU has me here is to use my talents to bring millions of people to, you know, to pay to watch, whatever the case is. So bringing all these viewers to FAMU. So how can I use FAMU in order to get what I need out of, regardless if you're going to allow me to play or not, the way that I know I should be. So then when I at that moment in time, when that was like that humbling moment, now my mindset went from the field to the books. Now I have a child on the way. Now I have to get this degree because I know I can't work at McDonald's or Burger King and take care of my child. So that at that point in time, like you said, so I believe that's what, you know, if I'm wrong, you know, correct me, but that it wasn't, I didn't want to be great on the field no more. No, it was just, all right, it's something else that I need to be great in order to help me get to what God wants me to be later on in life.
Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A podcast. I am your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, you got Mr. Military Man, Mr. Krabs, Mr. Bodybuilder, Mr. Miles McConico. To the right of him, you got the Rocket, Eddie Rocket, Mr. Eddie Rocket Scene. This is another episode of the EL2A podcast. We're going to start off with some mental health checks. Fellas, how y'all feeling today? 1 to 9.
Said 9.
Why 9, sir?
Feel good. Just gotta start raining. Yeah, other than that, it's a good day.
The rain have you down a little bit, dog?
Nah, it just get sleepy.
Sleep. How about yourself, Rocket?
10, man. Well, today is the 16th.
Yesterday was the 15th, man. Finally passed the rudder day. Man, I suck for the Rockets. So yeah, whenever you guys get this episode, I'll probably be, you know, knee deep and to real estate, bro. Nah, I'm a 10, man. I still been riding on that high. The family good, and I say good because everybody was excited. I think the kids seemed more excited than I did. I mean, everybody. I know since I've been going through I've been doing this since August. Been feathering since August. But yeah. So they've been supporting me. So my win passing the exam, it was like their win. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good feeling.
Nah, it's crazy because so actually what we are gearing up to talk about today, you know, that goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. And even through the podcast. So that's the beauty of having a podcast, of being able to tell your story. You sat right in that same spot and asked for prayers or just asked for people or told people that you were going through it. Then you had to come back and tell people that, you know what I mean, that it didn't go the way you wanted it to. And now you come back and tell the success story. So we definitely going to dig into that more. Me, myself, you know, I'm a 10, man. Today's been this week has been a great week and all. As you all know, you know, I was in Tallahassee with Leadership Florida. It's always impactful to be amongst other leaders. I think that's one of the most empowering things for me, being around other like-minded people, seeing that, you know, everybody's bringing the same amount of energy to a room. You know what I mean? So what we hear, obviously when we together, we do that, but there's other links that we can go in and seem like you may be higher than another. And that's one thing I appreciate about being in that space. It's always a match. And it always create a different level of energy, make some good connections that are going to follow up for us. And, you know, I'm going to tell y'all more about that. And then even coming back, get us straight back into the things. And today, having a man's breakfast, again, being in another room, speaker wasn't all that great. Sorry, bro, but he was, you know, but just being in that space with other leaders. But another gentleman came, I don't know if he actually came up and shook your hand at the end. And I introduced him as Josh. He was a part of his podcast army. So he's a big time podcaster here locally. First time I met him, it's funny how God works. I was at a board meeting with in a part of the thing that I'm a part of, and one of the ladies, she's with the CEP, and she knew we had a podcast, and she mentioned, like, "Hey, Jake, tomorrow we come out." And I, you know, all right, at first I told her, you know, I had to check, but then I checked my schedule, like, all right, I can make it in. So I ended up meeting. I actually hit Hobby up. Hobby like, "Hobby, man, they got the same one up. Let's slide to it." So me and Hobby actually went over there and checked it out. Was able to build a bond with the dude who was like, "Hey, come on the podcast." So I just did that here about an hour or so ago. But man, it was so profound because when you getting around other high skilled people and being able to pique their brain through our conversation, and then at the end, we picked something to me that was amazing. I'm gonna tell y'all, I just thought about it now, but I'm gonna tell y'all about it too. We'll get a beat to y'all later. You know, we all family, but I can't say it too because You know, we may have some people that hate family tuning in, might try to steal our ideas. So we gonna say that again. But good things come. All to say, man, I'm a 10 because I've been around great energy all week. All week I've been putting myself in situations to be around great energy, and I think that's what we all have to do. And that leads to our conversation. But I got something quick before we go to our conversation, and I'm gonna ask both of y'all this. So, do you care about, for example, do you care about when something needs to be done, it just getting done? It's like no matter how it gets done, just as long as it gets done, or do you care about the process that it takes to get it done? Do y'all care about that? And explain why, you know, each side of the beach. And do y'all get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when something needs to get done, you're a person that just leads, and long as it's done, will you get back, or you care about how it got done? Y'all, either one of y'all.
Yeah, I guess it would have to. What does the end result look like? I guess basically, because if you caring about how it's getting done, you know somebody's putting their time and their effort in to make sure that every detail is done. So and if that's the case, then it got done to its entirety. It's perfect, right? But then if you get somebody that's just doing the job, they'll get it done, but it's not gonna be to your standards or to your liking. So now it's like, I gotta accept what's been given. So I guess it's just what is your preference? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For me, I like it get done the right way. You clean the bathroom, Maul taught it, and when you clean the bathroom, go ahead and do it right the first time. So it's positive. You don't have to. She used to make us go back. If it wasn't done, she would send us back in there 2 or 3 times. So just get it right, get it done the right way the first time, and then you're good. So get it done the right way.
How about you, man?
I think it was contextual. It depends. If you have a whole bunch of stuff, then you go by prioritization. But if time can afford and you can do everything to the best or 100%, then obviously go ahead and do it. Because like you said, do it right the first time. I believe in that as well. But sometimes, especially if I'm just thinking back to like times in the military where you have such a list of things that has to get done. Some things you're not going to be able to put all that time and energy that you would into certain stuff. So I think it'll go down to your what is it you're prioritizing based on that list. But for the most part, if you can do the best for all your jobs, then also just do it. Just do the best.
Y'all already know it's a reason to why I brought it up, right? Y'all know that. It's a deal day, all right? So let me get into this. So, and back to what Eddie said, if you don't know, that's my big brother. So we grew up in the same household, the same structure. There was a point in time in my life where my mom would give us a duty to do, and I would just try to get it done. I didn't care how it got done. I just want to get it done. Example, clean my room. I push everything under the bed. Bitch, room clean. You get what I'm saying? But everything under the bed. Mom Deuce come in. Obviously, she gonna find, hey, come on, bro, leave. So, but there was a point in my life I didn't appreciate that because I didn't understand that.
Right.
But as I got older and I grew, I understood that okay, details matter. Because there was a point in time we in school. So with homework or quizzes, you could just get an answer and be cool with it. But as you got to ages, they start asking you to show your work. And then it's like, okay, you can't just get the answer. You know the answer, but they want you to show your work. As I got to high school, especially when I got to college, we had to always show your work. So me as an adult now, I understand why it's not about just getting this done. It's about showing your work or showing this, that you know the steps to get there.
Right.
So what I'm getting at, Kate. So I was with Kate. So coming up, I woke up this morning and we're going to brush my teeth. And I so happened to walk in, his room, you could walk and see it. He was getting dressed, but he was laying in the bed getting dressed. Like literally laying down, putting on his clothes. And I'm looking, and sometimes I try to think, oh, no. From like laying in the bed getting dressed. But for me, that's a problem. But for something, as long as it gets done, you get what I'm saying? But I understand the mindset of that could be troubling going forward because now you're just figuring out a way to do things in a comfortable way or in a most cozy way that you can, fitting for you. And I think that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I was talking about showing your work, like what he had his clothes on. So he was good. You see me go slow. But the way he went about putting his clothes on, you know what I'm saying? So that's a problem. Do y'all read it out wrong?
So that brings back a memory I'll never forget. So of course, we used to have to do the dishes. Somebody had to do the dishes every night. I bring in the bar stool. That ain't go the way that I thought it was going. Just the dishes got done the right way without the bar stool. So nah, that's pretty funny.
And then he got to share with you because they all understand what you're saying. He came in to like sit down.
Yeah.
Have you saying bar stool like
At the sink.
First one's like
dishes.
talking about like because you're too short. You know?
No. I was trying to get comfortable washing the dishes.
He wanted to sit down and watch it. Like, nah.
Come on, man.
But that's so I get it, but nah, that ain't right.
But let's think about the longevity of the process of that. Okay, so now you're building a habit, or think about it more. It would have been okay with sitting down watching this.
Yeah.
Like you see that this person is gonna be okay with just getting it done, no matter how it looks, as long as I got it done.
I've never seen it. That's crazy.
I tried.
But that's crazy. But I think that's that mindset, man. That leads to what we talk about. I think that builds a person that doesn't know what greatness is because they don't know what it looks like. You know what I mean? Because that's an average mentality. That's an average thing you do.
No,
that's not even probably average. I don't know what it is.
And it's crazy. So I mean, we didn't get to the topic yet of the day, but at the same time, you remember I was sharing with Jamie how there was a guy in the class when I was taking the class before actually being able to take the exam for real estate, and me and the guy was on the phone, and he was like he took off a whole week, I think a week or two to study because he knew that he couldn't go to work and study at the same time and prepare for that test. But I was sharing with Jamie like, you know, even though yes, it took 4 times to pass that test, but in the midst of going to take in the midst of studying, I'm home with the kids. So I'm working. I'm doing an after school program. I'm still going home with my family, but I'm trying to find time in between to study in the garage, in the room, trying to find my somewhere to get, you know, peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Even though the average person would want to be at the library or just where it's nothing, no distractions in order to get the job done. But still, with that being said, I was able to find, you know, success in it. But again, what if you have somebody that said, "Oh no, I can't study right now because I got, you know, I still have to go to work." Well, you still got to pay bills too. You still have to feed your family. So there's still, you know, even you can't be comfortable with being comfortable, basically. You know what I'm saying? If that's an uncomfortable thing to do, if the task is going to be uncomfortable, sometimes that's the best thing to do because it's going to help you mentally, you know, get through it. And I think a lot of that comes back to playing sports. You know, you got to be able to be uncomfortable with sudden changes, with, you know, tour days and things and such like that. With you, I'm pretty sure you went through some strenuous training, but you had to be comfortable going through that training. And now, you know, how that has helped you propel to where you are now in life. So, you know.
And the same thing, even like you said, with the sports, the parenting, or like, again, that could be easily dismissed. Like those actions can be easily dismissed as long as you're doing what I told you to do, as long as you. But I think it's vitally important that you pay close attention to details because things like that can easily be, you know, be tilted as, you know, as you grow up and be a crutch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You now you lay it down, get dressed. Now you never go get dressed. You should just go lay down for forever. But seriously though, you know, so I knew that y'all would get a kick out of that. But not seriously, you know, my talent, again, that do for self. That killer mentality, that mother mentality that, you know, we instill and we're creating or instilling amongst the kids that we mentor. We have to keep putting, and you got to hit on all the details. But yeah, that was quick. So the topic of the day, man. So I was thinking again. I was in Tallahassee this week for Leadership Florida, and you know, my mind was constantly going because obviously when I'm away, you know, I'm doing that, but I'm also always thinking about here, you know, what our work that we're doing. And I was thinking about me being in that ring, and it made me think about like where I come from, what I had to do to get here, get there in that current moment. And it kind of made me think that I had to consciously do things to put myself in this. You know what I'm saying? Like along my journey, I hadn't always been the smartest kid. When I played ball, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the biggest. I had to consciously do certain things to put myself in position to be great. Like it just didn't happen by accident. Like me being in that room didn't happen by accident. You get what I'm saying? Like I did something to put myself in that room. And I think that's the biggest thing that people aren't getting. It ain't about nobody else. It's about us. It's like, it's about what you consciously did to put yourself where you want to go. You know what I mean? Even when somebody say luck, I don't believe in luck. You know what I mean? Even when somebody gets lucky, they had to do something to put themselves closer, push themselves closer to luck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that mindset I want to talk about. Like,
in your situation, like right now, I even want to start with that. Even with getting you just passed your real estate exam. Okay, you had to. There was a journey that happened. Like you really said. So I want you to take us through the beginning, from the first one failing it to now. Like just walk us through that journey of overcoming the feelings. Like what was going on in your mind through it to get you to that point? Because you chose. Again, that's what I want you. You chose to continue. Some people would stop, but you chose because there was something that you really wanted to achieve.
Yeah. So just the beginning of it, taking a class in itself, you have people that say get into it, but at the same time, they'll tell you that, real estate is a hard subject. It's a hard task, And so first and foremost, that was one of the barriers. Like, who am I to listen to? You know what I'm saying? So now I have to psych myself out, or now I have to build up a mentality to say, okay, regardless of what others are saying against my wishes or against what I want to do, I have to push myself. I have to motivate myself to go through with it. So that's the first thing. And then, just going through the class again, the class is fairly easy. But then the moment you finish the class, because I remember I told you guys, so the moment that I finished the class, now you got to prepare for the test. I just went through so I did it on the weekend. So it was a whole month and a half of on the weekends of training, of classwork, studying. And now it's, I remember this Martha instinct. She said, you should go take the test now. But again, now she said, cause she knows that, we're fairly prepared. She did what she can do. But then now you have the rest of the class. Like, I think we need to study some more. So now, I allowed those negative things, I allowed that to kind of sway me. So I waited, So now, 4 or 5 months go by. I go to take the test in August, and from within that time frame of not taking the test or not studying real estate, I feel like, I ended up with the 57 the first time. To me, that was fairly good. I needed the 75 to end up to actually get my real estate license. But that first time failing, I felt good because I felt like I was at a good threshold within that score. I think I shared with you guys, I shared with you all, I shared with my kids, and I shared with our mentees, and my friends as well, because I knew before that, taking back to high school, there were high school or college, there were certain things when I failed in life, I would just, I would try to keep it to myself. I not tuck my tail, but I just deal with my failure alone because I didn't want to be accountable. I didn't want others to hold me accountable. I didn't want to be seen as a failure. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because a lot of times you want to succeed. Like, I didn't want to fail 3 times and then finally pass on the 4th time. I would love to pass the first time, but I think, through failing, now I've been able to build a mentality of, never giving up, never quitting. So that's the reason why when I, even telling you all, Matt, bro, I have to tell my kids that I'm failing. Bro, I don't know if, for any man, bro, that got to be one of the toughest things. Today at the, at the men's prayer breakfast, when he said that he sat down at the table, or his dad sat at the table and told him that he was leaving, regardless of whatever the reason was that his dad left, bro, that got to be one of the toughest things to do, that you're telling your family that you got to go. So that's a moment of failure in life, regardless, however you see it. He's dismissing his family, he's walking out on his family. That's one of the lowest points in life. That's a man that you have to sit and face your family and tell them that I can't do it anymore. That's failure. So, when I equate that to me failing the test, failed the first time, failed the second time, failed the third time. And I'm not even gonna lie. The third time, no lie at all, I felt as though that I was done. Mentally, I felt like, because I was like, bro, I don't, what else? I'm studying, I felt like I was studying enough. But again, I just knew that I had shared with you all, and then I still knew I shared with my kids. And that third time when I came home, I told Q, my youngest son, I told him, and I was sharing with Jamie. I said, Q, I said, man, Daddy got something to tell you. And he looked, he said, wait, don't tell me you failed. I said, yeah, I failed. He's like, Dad, what you doing? I was like, I don't know, man. So he said that, but then what really like triggered something in me is when at that very same time, he was like, well, Dad, he said, well, Dad, I took a test today. I thought I had 100, but I had a 25. So, at that point in time, I looked at my girl, and I was like, all I could do was smile, but that let me know that it was okay to fail. And for him to feel comfortable with telling me that he was failing, but knowing that he would still do better, that for some reason it triggered something in me. So I pushed forward, and I went and took it the fourth time, and man, I passed. And so again, it's just through that process of wanting to do better, wanting to show others that it's okay to fail, but it's what you're gonna do when you fail. Because if you don't do anything, that's a big problem. That's the biggest problem with them all. You didn't try to figure out how, like, what would happen on the other side of that failure.
And you know what it was, because your success wasn't really attached to the test. The test was a bycard, like a piece of where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you visually, I know you visually see the person that you want to be in that field.
Yeah.
And the test is just a piece of the pie that get you there. So once you fail it, you like, oh, okay, like this isn't my end all be all. I just got to get through it. Some people rap, they hope to everything in that moment. That when it crush them, then they walk away from it. So with you visually knowing, okay, this is the real estate mogul or whatever, the aspirations that you have for that space, that allows you to even see past that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know I'm going to do that. And then, like I say, you chose to be great in that moment.
Yeah, for sure.
And even going, past to the boys, what we talk about with our boys. Same thing right now. So I'm passing you so you can talk about this situation. But it's the same thing right now with we ain't gonna name his name, with one of our mentees right now. He has everything. He has the person in his life to be there for him. He has the mentors that wrap around him. He gets second chances. He has everything he wants and needs to be a successful young man. He is choosing not to do that. Why? Why can you think a person would just self-destruct in that way? Why is it that somebody that has the keys or are able to have a pathway to success? Why do you think somebody would go against that or go against the grain?
They simply don't see it. I mean, that's one answer. I mean, for people that has a mindset to try and progress in life, to try and be the best version of themselves, you have a vision for lanes to get to that success. If your mind isn't wired to that way, it doesn't matter if it's like driving on 75. You're looking for your exit to get off, to get to where it is you're trying to be at. So you're actively looking for it. But for those people, they're just they're just on the road, not really paying attention. It doesn't matter if it's flashing lights saying this is your exit, hop off here. They just keep blowing right past it. So they never really tune into the options and the opportunities that being afforded. And that's why they have like a very apathetic just view of that help. It really doesn't matter. They're just in a fog, essentially. Another thing is that I see quite often, people allow their circumstances to become blinders to those opportunities that they have out there. They get so focused on their condition that they don't look at, okay, this to take me out of this condition. This can sit there and help improve my condition. They can't see it. It's just they allow things to just obscure their vision. It's just a lack of vision overall.
And everything, so it's a personal choice. And I think that's the biggest thing. So everything's a personal choice. Even in that situation, like he's making a personal choice to self-destruct, in my opinion. Again, because like you said, we've all had independent collective conversation with this gentleman. He just chooses to go against the grain. So like we all say, he's going to hit that wall to be able to be realization. I was thinking about my personal stuff, and I kind of think like, man, where's there any moment in my life that I ever was like not trying to be great? Like, do you ever think there was a moment in your life that you, I guess, was more on the rebellious side, or you was like not trying to be great? Do any of y'all like, is there, can y'all think of something like that?
So never, I don't know. It's like you said. So it's a mentality. Is what you bring. Like what is your upbringing? What are you taught? What are you shown? You know what I'm saying? So we still talking about his vision. So even through what he's dealing with is I go to what I would say is, so is a man in his life, and not outside of us, because a father, we play a vital role in these kids' lives who we mentor. And we see that, we hear about it all the time, but it's that man, my dad, like somebody in my household that, who I could call mine, is he there in his life to help him to paint that vision for him, or to show him how to find that vision. Son, what do you want to be in life? We could do it, but I mean, if his mind and heart isn't attached to us the way that it would be to his father, that could change. That could be the ultimate game change for any man. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about men. We're not, most men aren't built to be emotional, so to speak. You know, we have some, but most men, most boys and men are not built to be that way. So, you know, by not having that actual vision and not being able to be shown the right way I feel like a lot of times that may be the reason that he may not have that. You know, so for me, no, our dad was in our life, and he showed us from the time I can remember. I seen this man get up. You know, we laugh about some mornings where you see our pops get up in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be coming out of the room, get ready to go to the gym, and he's just standing in this trap like this. But you know, so that at no point in time I ever seen him say, "Nah, you know, I can't do it today." We always seen this man getting up. The one who I call my dad, who we call our dad, we seen him get up every day, even when things, you know, didn't seem like things were going in the direction that he wanted it to go. So we seen that. So for us, that's something that was built and instilled in us at a very young age. So now that as we get older in life, there are just certain things that we experience that is like, okay, well, I remember seeing my dad, you know, pushing through whatever it was that he was dealing with. So that at no point in time in my life did I feel like, okay, it's time, you know, I'm gonna sit back. I'm not gonna want to be the best at whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was ever a time where I didn't want to be the best, but I can understand where some people kind of, I gotta say it, almost like they just end up just getting burned out in the process, and that's just being real. Because I could think back to times when I was a young soldier. I was at a duty station, and I remember getting there, very ambitious, very, you know, hard charger, wanted to be the best, wanted to do, you know, all this high speed stuff, wanted to sit there and overachieve. So anytime I heard anything about opportunity to self-improve or anything like that, whether it was an online course, this, that, and the other, I wanted to do it. I want to sign up for it. I wanted to, you know, get after it. And, you know, I had a platoon at the time where they were just very meh. You know, they were okay with just coasting. And so my environment wasn't necessarily conducive for my level of ambition. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there asking, like going and asking, saying, well, what can I do? What can I get this? Can I, you know, get that? And there were certain things online that we have these courses online that you have to take. Now, at the time, it wasn't even mandatory that you had to take it for a younger enlisted, you know, individual. But I heard about it, so I wanted to do it. Well, at the time, it had to be signed off on by my superiors. So they had to go in there and like basically register me for these courses. I asked, and they just kept dragging their feet. And here I am, I'm like, looking around, I'm like, bro, like I'm 18. I'm trying to, you know, be the best I can be. I'm trying to be, you know, proactive and all this stuff. And it's like, everybody around me was just like, don't care. You know, so then it's like, as an 18-year-old, now, you know, obviously I can pick up the phone, call mom and dad, but I'm like, nah, I'm trying to do this on my own. I'm trying to establish my own independence here. I'm trying to show that, yeah, this is in me to be a go-getter. But literally, I'm just being, every turn, it seemed like somebody just like, oh yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah. And it's not from a lack of effort on my side. I literally need them to go and do this for me so that I can then do these courses. Like if I can do it myself, I would have did it. But no, I had to sit down and wait. And so, and that was just one example. So then you sitting there every single day, you giving 100%, and it's like the environment just not really on that type of time. It's like at some point in time, bro, you're gonna wake up and be like, bro, what the heck? Yeah. You know, like I'm trying to do it. What's the point of giving 100% every single day if I'm just keep getting this obstacle put in front of me? Yeah. Now you have a choice. You can sit there and quit and say, well, obviously, you know, that whole trying to be the best that you can be ain't worth it. Or you can just sit there and just endure in a reasonable sense to where it's like, all right, I know if I keep at this pace, I'm gonna get so overly frustrated, I'm gonna lash out or I'm gonna burn myself out. So what's like a safe, you know, output that I can put out there to where I'm still charting to be my greatness, but I'm also not doing something that, again, it's diminishing returns at this point. So with that being in mind, sometimes when we talk about these things, I try to keep that that experience in mind. Because I know that some people are out there, they are trying their best, and they have been trying their best for a long time, but for whatever reason, it's just not their season right now to get to that next level. And so for those people, just don't burn out. Because I get it. Because had I quit, had I burned out, and I just be like, hey man, this is dumb, and went the route some of my other soldiers, my friends went, they ended up just giving up basically. And then they started abusing alcohol. Some of them end up, using drugs, and they pissing hot, getting kicked out of the military. Like that could have been me if something in me didn't just make me hold the course and just say, okay, one day it's going to pay off. And then it eventually did, but I know it's hard. So, sometimes you just got to have that piece of you inside that's going to hold it together and say that even though you're doing your best and the environment's not right for you, you're still just going to keep a decent level up of tracking ahead in life.
So it resonates with me so much because it made me start thinking about to my experience, my athletic experience, because I got to that point where you're saying, but it was more so on the point of, okay, I feel as if I'm doing everything I can to be the person I be, and people aren't. They see it, but people, I guess, have the authority to limit me to you know what I mean, to what I can do.
They're not respecting that effort. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm grinding, I'm doing my thing, and that, like you say, it gets to a point where you're like, bro, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, F it. Like, at this point, y'all know what I'm doing. Y'all see me. If we gonna do this, I'm gonna be here. You get what I'm saying? And so I resonate with that. And I guess at that moment, to ask myself the question, is there the moment I ever chose not to be great? It might have been in that moment. But in my choosing not to be great, I like the way you just put it, because
it's not. I don't think it's. I think in some situations it is black and white. Like, I'm just not going to own my grade. But some moments it is literally, I think it's a divine moment, because it's something that's in you that God has to chip away. You're saying you're ready, but God's saying no, not yet. And so you have to find that time period, be like, you know what? Now let me do some deeper introspection, And that, I mean, not to cut you off, but it's almost like, so when I think about what you guys sharing, it's almost like eternal, you know what I'm saying, in the game. So it's a humbling experience for you, so not that neither one of you were trying to own your greatness or not trying to push forward, but now you had to, between your vision and your mindset, now you have to figure out how to redirect myself. So that turnover, like, okay, so if I can't, if they're not going to allow me to own my greatness right there, because it's crazy, I remember even with my coach, I'm pretty sure I was one of the best running backs, but not being able to play the game that I love is like, okay, how could I, at that moment when it did seem as if I didn't care. I mean, on the inside, others couldn't tell, but what I did allow myself to do was like, okay, now I had to rethink, on my way to success, like what's going to work for me. So at that point in time, because I remember I was always at FAMU, to play ball, so it was always like it was almost I literally. The mindset that I end up shifting to is like, okay, well, FAMU has me here to use my talents to bring millions of people to, to pay to watch, whatever the case it is. So bringing all these viewers to FAMU. So how can I use FAMU in order to get what I need out of, regardless if you're going to allow me to play or not, the way that I know I should be. So then when I at that moment in time, when I was like that humbling moment, now my mindset went from the field to the books. Now I have a child on the way. Now I have to get this degree, because I know I can't work at McDonald's or Burger King and take care of my child. So that at that point in time, like you say, so I believe that's what, if I'm wrong, correctly, but that it wasn't, I didn't want to be great on the field no more. No, it was just, all right, it's something else that I need to be great in order to help me get to what God wants me to be later on in life. Yeah, it's an evolution process, because then, you can, at that point in time where you're trying to level up, you may be knocking out the park on certain things, but to the addition you made, there's a different piece of the puzzle that you have to develop within yourself that you're not looking at. And sometimes I think, again, life and God will force you to look at those other pieces, because you'll get too tunnel vision on the things that you're doing right and not the things that you're a little bit deficient in. And then what that situation taught me too, because I remember to add insult to injury, what really made me frustrated was then when that command team that we had at the time, when they moved on, and then we got our new first sergeant and commander coming in. One of the first things they asked when they got there, I'll never forget it. First Sergeant Lockett came in and he said, if you E4 and below, have y'all did SSD1? Have y'all done it? Nobody raised their hand. That was the same thing I was trying to get my past people to get me signed up for so I could do it. He was livid because it showed him that nobody had ambition or a go-getter mentality to try to do it, to be proactive. Because then it was becoming mandatory that you did it in order to get promoted. So he come in, and I get it now, especially now that I'm older, I'm on the job. Look back at it, I get it. You know, you coming into a military unit, and you trying to gauge, you know, what type of soldiers you're dealing with, and you asking them if they did like this bare minimum type of self-improvement course, and nobody raising their hand. You know, obviously I can't raise my hand and be like, well, actually I tried to do this, but you know, like, no, that ain't the time. Like, yeah. So it's just like, so I remember at that point in time, I was so frustrated because I'm like, for the longest time, I was trying to show that I was different from everybody else. I wanted to self-improve. I wanted to sit and be proactive. And in the one moment where I would have had the opportunity to raise my hand, the one person out of everybody in the room, I didn't have the opportunity because of somebody else. But then that taught me too, because it's like, well, you got to still, that's why I was saying, like, you have to still basically put that mindset on the shelf ready to pick back up. And that was my biggest downfall, because then when they came in, I let my frustration basically hinder me tapping back into that old me, because I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So
that's same, bro. That's definitely that same mindset. I was like, because I took on that it is what it is attitude.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing you can ever do, in my opinion. Because now you put it off, it is what it is. Like, you have no control over the situation. And that's one of the biggest things. And I had the same thing Eddie did. So like my focus kind of shifted towards, okay, I got to start to get school a little more serious. I need in this business degree. This ain't going that way. And to the same thing you're saying, it's like somebody got their foot on your neck. It's like, okay, bro, you see my talent. You know what I can do. Like, why are you doing this to me? What's going on? So some of the biggest takeaways in my life came from those moments. So the one, it is what it is. So I have control. Like, I can do something in this situation to better my situation, to choose to be great. And same the other thing, I would never let her put myself in a position where a person has that much authority, power over me to hinder my success. You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, bro, you don't know how it feels to somebody had literally got their neck on you. Bro, I remember, bro, when I went to school, never forget, I think my sophomore year, I'm coming in, sophomore coming up, or junior year, probably. So anyway, I'm coming into the season. Great all season, just working hard, but we get a new coach. The coach that is coming in, he recruit me. So he bringing his guys in. He brought a freshman running back in that it was his guy. Bro, we going to camp. This man hasn't even walked, stepped a foot, lifted a weight, did a workout on his camp. Man, he came out, he put the depth chart up. He had brother name and number 2, and he looked at all the running backs in the room and said, one of y'all will fight for number 1, but he gonna be number 2. He playing. Straight like that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's the type of art. So that was that spirit that was like, dang, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But in those moments, so when we talk about choosing to be great, like, how? Like, I get that. Like, yeah. I'm trying. Yeah. I'm trying, but you see what I'm up against. But in that moment, like, again, it is what it is. Bump them, bump this. I'm just here.
Right.
Y'all figure it out. You get what I'm saying? But that mentality alone can crush you. Because again, you're not hurting that person. You know what I mean? Who are you hurting? And nobody but yourself.
I mean, and I guess to bring it to, you know, in social media, it's almost the devil. Social media, and you know, as a father, I see plenty of times, you know, through the years, you see a lot of men that say, well, she won't allow me to do this, or she won't allow me to see my son. So, or my daughter, you know, I think back to, you know, my oldest daughter, she was in Delray. She was in Delray, Florida. I was in Tallahassee. That's a 6-hour drive. There were moments where, so I would say, hey, will you meet me? Like, you know, cut me some slack. I'm up at school. I'm doing something good so that I can make sure that I provide for our child later on in life. You know, help me help her. Think she helped me? You know what I'm saying? But that could, at that point in time, and I guess, you know, she could have had her foot on my neck, you know, not allowing me to you know, help me out to see my daughter, make it easy for me. But I put in the work. I made sure I drove those 6 hours. You know, I drive 6 hours and drive back to Ocala. So essentially like a 9-hour day.
in order to see it. So a lot of times, I mean, I think that's to Jamie's point, where you have to be able to, you still have to be able to try to be the best you. I had to be the best. My mom always said, be the bigger person, so to speak. You got to be the bigger person in those moments a lot of times, because if not, that is what it is. It is what it is attitude. That is what it is mentality can hinder you from me having a relationship that I have with my daughter to this day. I had to bite that bullet. I had to deal with those tough times or those trying moments and figure out, okay, what can I do in order to make sure that no matter what, the relationship that I have with my daughter is going to be one of the best in the world. And to this day, she's a daddy's girl. So, you just look at people in life, whether they're on a job or they're in a relationship with, it is what it is. Okay, well, if you accept it is what it is, then you're going to get what you get. Like that's simple. And I think that go back to what you originally said at the beginning. Like, that's the part that's black and white. Yeah. If you don't put in that effort, if you don't put in the work that you need with your significant other, then bro, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna get what you get out of it. And then if that's what you get, 9 out of 10, we're not gonna be happy with the results. So now that's where you got to be your best self and then get the best out of it that you can get. And
I think this whole episode, man, we telling everybody, man, you got to choose, and the life you want, you got to choose to go get it. I mean, you can't put any roadblocks. You can't allow another person to be an excuse for you not to be who you need to be. You got to figure it out. Again, there's going to be obstacles that come. We can all attest to that. We all had situations where we felt as if somebody else was in the way. Man, we had to choose to be great. We had to find a way to get over that situation. And like I said, for the people that's watching, you got to figure it out. You owe you, just like Eric Thompson say, you owe you. You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to yourself to figure it out. You owe it to your family as well. So in a situation to choose to be great, just know there's hurdles, there's obstacles, there's going to be burdens, there's going to be a price to pay to be that person. And going back to our experiences, I'm constantly knowing that I have to choose. I had to choose to go to that podcast thing to meet this guy to get the information I got. We had to choose to be in that ring today at 7:00 in the morning with other business leaders. You have to choose. It ain't going to be comfortable. Waking up this morning, you going to get about 2. I wish I could have slept a little longer. You know what I mean? I wish I could have stayed in the bed. So at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, man. I'm telling you, to be the person you want to be, it takes a lot of work. It ain't going to come to you, man. It don't come easy. And once you put the skin in the game, though, and the back end of it, man, you realize, like when I'm in that room with Tallahassee, man, I look at myself, dang, like, bro, you did something to be here. You know what I'm saying? You had to be, you know what I mean? I had to connect with different leaders. I had to be here. Like, this is a high privilege. And those were just one of those moments with, of gratitude, or just thinking like, God, like, I thank you for creating me with this mindset, for giving me the foundation that I have to know that it ain't always going to be easy, but I got to push through. You got to persevere. And I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's all about.
The biggest thing is too, people got to realize is quicker to go through the process. And I know like a lot of times we talk about a process all the time. Process, it is a grind, it is a season being uncomfortable, but it's quicker to go through the process, because what's hard and what's more enduring is the negatives if you quit. I remember, people would quit in basic training, while we're there. So we was there for OSUT, so 16 weeks. So 16 weeks, it's highly uncomfortable. And, so people would stop. But if you just kept each day just doing the best that you could each day, you got through it in 16 weeks. You knew at the end of 16 weeks I was done. But the people that quit, in that moment, they're gratifying how they feel. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I quit. And the drill sergeants that take them get ready to send them over to the holdover so that they can be processed to go back home. So they're sitting there, happy that they're like, okay, I'm going home. Those same people, when we walk across the field at graduation, now we're done. We're going home with our families for, leave before going off to our individual units and stuff. They were still there. So those people that quit were still there when we left, because they gave into that moment. So it was true what they said. It's quicker to go through. Yes, it is painful, but then we were leaving the place that, like, oh my God, thank God. And them dudes still sitting there trying to get out process, trying to go back home, trying to get to what they thought they wanted, and it taking them longer to get back there. Like I told my daughter, it's the hard thing is seeing people, eat the fruits of their labor that you could have had as well, or that you should have had. Seeing the person that trusted the process in basic training, went through it, and now they had their unit That's where you want to be at. But now you got to live with that, knowing that I quit, and then it took you longer to leave the place than they did. You know, I told her about her grades. You know, if she give up on her grades or she give up on herself with putting for the best effort. I said, what's going to be harder seeing your former cheerleader friends going out to cheer next year, you not, because your grade's not good. That's what's hard. What's going to be hard is seeing the kids that stayed in the H program, but if I let you quit, you know, you got to do all the way to 12th grade. They graduated a year early with their scholarships, with grants and all this stuff going to school. And now you trying to figure that stuff out. That's what's going to be hard. Same thing when you're an adult. What's going to be hard is seeing people, you know, not living paycheck to paycheck, struggling. They able to go on vacation and have fun, but because of the choices you made, now you're sitting there trying to figure out how you're going to keep lights on and eat at the same time. That's what's hard. You got to look at what's going to actually be hard down the road versus what's hard right now. And it's easy to just go through it.
If I must add, so I guess you go back to the original question that you asked. You know, is it hard? Like, I guess to be great. It's like, did we ever have a moment to be what we thought it was choosing to be great? And I believe, you know, if you do exactly what you said just now, it builds up that muscle memory. Yeah. So now, again, I go back to me, you know, passing the test, failing 3 times, finally passing the 4th time. Brother, it's nothing. You can't put a test in front of me and I'm gonna tell you that I can't do it. You know, regardless of how long it's gonna take me, I know it's gonna get done. So through all those trials and, you know, those examples that you just used, for every kid and business owner, they're gonna be, you said it, brother, they're gonna be tough times. But if you deal with it now and push through, whenever you face with that again, you will never, it won't even be a thought, like, you know, it's gonna get done.
Yeah, y'all kind of just did what I was going to end it with, man. So yeah, I was kind of going to end it asking y'all to give, you know, advice, to give a little motivation for people to choose to be great. I'll spit it back to y'all if I want to, but, you know, for myself, for the people that's watching, man, you really, it has to be a conscious decision you make. A conscious decision you make to choose to be great. And once you make that choice, I promise you, you're going to do everything, you know, possible to reach that. You have to be able to visualize to see the person that you want to be. And know that, you know, as you're building that person, it's going to be, you know, those bumps and bruises in the road for you to become who you're trying to be. But it's all going to be worth it. Just like Miles said, it's always going to be worth it in the end. Once you get to that point and you look back, and you're going to be on set a roadmap or a foundation for other people to follow. You know, they're going to be able to see and witness, you know, the people behind them, like, okay, he did it. Okay, he an example. He looked like me. Oh, he's from the side of town I'm from. Okay, I can do it too. And now it's possible. One man's obedience is connected to other people's destiny. So when you being obedient to what God put you here to do, and you following that path of the journey that God set out for you, you're going to open that door for so many other people because they're going to know they can do it. So you got to take that responsibility for yourself and make it happen. All right. So I'll let y'all, if y'all got anything I want to spin it one more time, and y'all think y'all touch on.
The other thing I say to help that out too is tie something to that, the reason, your why behind it. So at the end of the day, with failing, you know, I know my kids was, if nothing else, I don't want them to see their dad as a failure. Even though they know I failed the test, now they know that they didn't pass. So now for me as a father, as a teaching point in life, you know, I tied those failures to my success was their success just then, because now it's showing them later on in life that they can do it no matter what they face.
Me just simply just reiterating, you know, don't sell your future out for the here and now. You know, it's cliche, but, you know, like I explained earlier, it's true. You know, you sit there and think it's hard to sit there and study. It's hard to sit there and forego going out, partying or watching TV, what have you. But the hardest thing is seeing other people living a life close to the one that you had envisioned for yourself. But now you just sitting back, you just that, you watching, you know, instead of living.
I love it. Hey, family, thank you all for tuning in, man. So if you haven't already, man, follow us on YouTube and Cut Different Ink. Subscribe to our YouTube so you don't miss these podcasts. Get on our Instagram, EL2A Podcast, Facebook, EL2A Podcast, and follow the journey, man. We love the support. I would love you all for watching these videos. I'm telling you, if you tune in each week, each episode, you're going to take something from this episode that's going to help you to own your greatness. It's going to help you to choose to be great and all the things we're speaking on here, family. So remember, choose to be great. We'll see y'all next week.